This is the Basketball Show with Shane the Hammer Heel. What they gonna say next?
Yes, this is the Basketball Show. It's all thanks to TCL Mobile, NBA 2K23 and UPCOZ. Joe Healy, Shane Heel with you. Hammer, you look a little different today.
You like this? The beanie.
Talk to me about it.
How good. I'm going to walk 150 kilometres. Can you believe that? In 3 days. I'm going to do it.
Wow, okay.
And I'm in training now. I've got to drop a couple of kgs. Don't worry about that. But for the Mark Hughes Foundation. So they are about to sell their 1 millionth beanie on sale, so look out for it come June 1, and they've raised 30 million. So we're going to have my details up, and you can donate to the walk. If I can get through that, and we'll be ready to go.
Let's hope so. That's part of the Big Three trek. Luke and the guys I know do an amazing job at pushing
champions.
that. It's a wonderful cause. I do hear that people lose toenails. This is not not a walk in the park at all. It's actually quite tough. I'm
not laughing at this. This is a big effort to be able to get it done. But I'm with good people. Glenn's going to help me through it. He's done it. He's actually my mate, Glenn. He's going to walk from Cronulla to Newcastle and then do it with the rest of the team back. He's a legend.
Wow.
Glenn Gorick, don't worry about that.
You're not willing to commit to that?
Oh, no, I definitely won't. I've got to stay within what I know I can get done, and that's the 50 a day.
All right. Well, best of luck for it.
Thank
Good
you.
on you.
Donate. Great cause, brain cancer. So well done to everyone involved.
Love it. All right. Big show ahead. Let's get into it. This is our TCL starting five. There is a new Aussie national champion, last year Poa, a winner with LSU.
Poa. Well done. I still
it's
haven't
great.
forgiven her though. She went to the AAS with my daughter.
Yeah.
She was encouraging her to skip classes and they were eating McDonald's and all that sort of stuff.
I love
and then
it.
she goes from that
That's what
all the way
that's
to win a national
That's what the
championship.
AAS is all about. Come on.
Yeah, good. She's a good kid. So well done, and she's found a way to be able to play in a successful program, and look forward to see where the future holds for her.
Yeah, a massive win for women's basketball as well, just in general. The amount of eyes that were on the NCAA tournament, the viewership from a broadcast point of view as well, and the superstars on display. Angel Reese picking up the MVP for the tournament. Obviously, Caitlin Clark, everybody's talking about her.
Georgia Moore, she fell short, but the amount of threes that she made, it would have been a disappointing end.
Did you see she broke the record for the amount of threes in the tournament, and then I think 5 minutes later
Well, I must have been the bad luck charm because it was the first game I watched and she missed her first 5 threes. So I felt for her, but she's a great kid and she'll go back next year and hopefully they'll go a step further.
Yep, no, really exciting for them. San Diego State and UConn tomorrow as well, so that's going to be good. Back a little closer to home, Mike Kelly is a head coach once again, being picked up by Southeast Melbourne. Do you like the move?
It's interesting. Mike's a good guy and he's solid and I think he coaches like he played. He was hard and solid and honest. But I'm surprised, to be honest, when they came out and said there was 30 people that had applied from all over the world. And, Mike was okay in Cairns and then, he's gone to Perth a couple of years as an assistant coach. So I understand that it makes sense from his history and success when you talk about the Magic and the Titans and all those sort of clubs that he was part of. Mm-hmm. But I thought they may have been able to go a little bit higher profile, but that doesn't automatically mean that they would have been more successful with someone else. So wish him luck as well. Yep,
no doubt. NBL Free Agency, Pinder, obviously the big move heading over to the Perth Wildcats.
Huge.
But there hasn't really been a lot else happening so far.
Expected a few more bigger names to drop, didn't we? And I guess with McDowell White, that's the one that we're waiting for because that will impact other moves as well. But
they're all sitting on it until after we finish recording and it'll drop this afternoon or something.
Where's he going then? One team. Where's he going?
Will McDowell White?
Yeah.
Staying in New Zealand.
Okay.
I think. I hope. For his sake. They were fun to watch this season and they were so successful and I don't know, he looked to fit in there and...
Well, let's see how much Perth hate being out of the playoffs and whether they can actually get it.
Perth sort of picking up Pinder, if they manage to put a big three together, it's only a good thing for the NBL.
I think it'd be a great thing, but that may impact on what imports they can get as well. So it's, it'll be interesting.
WNBL Free Agency, I think we're about 10 days away from that as well.
How long does it take? Why do they need 3 weeks?
Isn't it to do with the amount of days after the last game of the season?
Oh, the NBL's 2 weeks. I think the WNBL's 3. I'm saying just get into it, eh?
Yeah,
Let's
possibly. It's a funny setup in terms of you don't necessarily know. It's not easy to find out what players are available, who's going to be a free agent. I know there are a couple of teams going after someone like Loz Nicholson, but she is contracted in Townsville. Is there anyone in particular that you'd be interested to see on the move or where they end up?
Bit of talk about Annalie Maley not being in Bendigo.
Oh, okay.
She's contracted. So whether that's true or not, but that'll be interesting, whether that was the right fit there and whether she takes off and goes somewhere else. So
what happened to, didn't they start the season with
really
eight wins in a row or something and then just fell off?
Down the Googler. Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Okay. No insight?
No insight at all.
That you're willing to share?
Yep.
The Opals have just been in camp as well. What are they working towards at the moment?
Well, this will be the only camp that Sandy Brondello will actually be there, because obviously she'll go back to the WNBA, just like the WNBA players. So with the Asia Cup coming up in Sydney, I think it's like July or something like that, but it sounds like the WNBA players will be out of that. So then it'll be the next set of players coming through. So they've got a camp now, and it's been reduced from injuries and people still being overseas and things like that, but good time to get together.
I actually didn't know the Asia Cup was going to be in Sydney.
Well, I hope I'm right with that. I think I am.
Okay. If it is, though, I would like to see more. We need some advertising, some marketing around it, because
that'll be huge. You can imagine the Chinese fans and Japanese fans. They did
such a good job with the World Cup last year. Maybe they can push that a little bit. Anyway, you heard it here first. We are talking, where am I? NBA now. The Sacramento Kings have booked their place in the playoffs for the first time in 16 years.
Really good.
Is Mike Brown, he's got to be a shoo-in for Coach of the Year, doesn't he?
Doesn't he? What an effort. Now, we've spoken about it before. How far can they go in the playoffs when, you look at the West with teams like Denver and Memphis, and, I noticed today Phoenix had a good win and Durant starting to be able to get back and make a couple of buckets with Booker as well. So you wouldn't think that they're going to go too far in there, but well done for what they've done, and there's no doubt that they're laying some foundations to be able to continue to build.
Third in the West at the moment, which means that Director Dave's 2 teams, obviously can't forget about the Knicks, they are 5th in the East. We'll both be playing.
He's been a bit quiet lately, though.
We'll both be in the playoffs. He has been a little bit. He's been on the Kings train, that's why.
He's been a bit up and down. He picks and chooses
Dave. Exactly right. Alrighty, let's move on. This is Points Made thanks to UPCOZ. D-Ruck is joining us as he always does from Brisbane. D, you're officially the second best athlete in your family. How does it feel?
Oh, Joe, thank you. A little zinger to start the day. I'm very, very happy, and I'm happy that Jalen is a silver medalist at Nationals in the long jump. It was a terrific performance, and I'm more than happy now to be referred to as Jalen Rucker's dad.
Love it. You know that feeling. You know that feeling too, don't you?
It grows on you. And well done, young fella.
Exactly. Well, please pass on our congratulations. Now we are talking NBA. They've announced a new collective bargaining agreement. 65 games needed to be played to be eligible for postseason awards. Marijuana is now officially okay. Players can own.
It's okay, is it? Marijuana in the NBA.
It is now.
Oh, okay. That's good.
It is now, because it wasn't really a thing before.
No. Okay.
Probably 15 or 20 years too late for some people, but you know.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly. Players can also own organisations via a private equity firm. I don't know how I feel about that one, but Dee, I'll come to you first. What do you like about this? What do you not like? Is there anything missing?
Well, Joe, the thing I like about it most is that they got it done before the scheduled date, and now we don't have to worry about the threat of labor shortage, labor stoppage, or the owners blocking players from going into facilities and all that garbage. We know we're clear for the next at least 6 years. But the big thing for me, Shane, is the fact that now teams can sign no longer only 2 Supermax players, but 3 Supermax players. And that's going to open the gate for players to extend their terms with teams, because they won't be forced out seeking Supermax contracts like the Cleveland Cavaliers, who will have Evan Mobley coming up. He'll probably be looking for a Supermax. And with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland already on Supermax deals, they can retain Mobley and keep the nucleus of their team intact. And I think it may also help Josh Giddey and the OKC Thunder down the track, Shane. That's just one of the finer points that I picked out as being quite significant.
On the flip side, does that actually hurt how even the competition is going to be moving forward? Because some of those smaller teams may have got somebody because they could afford to pay somebody the Supermax.
Well, what they've done, Shane, with the rich teams like Golden State and the Clippers is they've actually almost set a second soft cap, but the punitive costs on exceeding that cap are really big now. So they're really trying to prevent teams from just going nuts and paying whatever tax bill you encounter.
The 65 games is a big one for me because, we've known that it's a trend. Mm-hmm. We know players want more and more time off, and this is going to encourage them and really eat at their egos to be able to play games that they wouldn't normally have played because they want to get these awards. So I think that's a big one for me.
The other one, all NBA teams will be positionless. It'll be interesting to see how that impacts All-Star weekend and things like that as well. The coach's challenge rule wasn't changed. I thought that was a massive opportunity to make a change there, because that's the one thing that I think really is a sour point when it comes to the NBA. As in
keeping your challenge if
a coach is successful with it, they don't get to keep the challenge at the moment. I think
we've got it right here in the NBL. Yeah, I like the fact that we can get one up on the NBA with those sort of rules. So maybe we've got more mistakes made from our NBL refs as well that you could string 6 or 7 together. Maybe in the NBA you can't string that many together.
One thing I would like to see, now this is going off on a tangent, I would like to see the WNBL get the challenge together because I saw some very shaky calls in the course of their playoffs.
How long we got? Like how long can a game go for?
Not enough time right now.
It's a 4-hour game today, ladies and gentlemen, because someone's up to 26 straight wrong calls.
Not enough time right now. The draft is obviously getting closer and closer. I'm on the Victor Wembanyama train. I don't know if you guys are as well. Director Dave has asked me to ask you guys the question, though. Are the Victor tanking stakes worth it? I absolutely think they are. D, what do you reckon?
No. Joe, how many times I have to educate you on this? I know you're a basketball populist and you want to love all these big trendy guys like Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson. These guys, they'll have a great impact in the league eventually, but not next year. They're not leading their teams any championships or deep playoff runs. Now, maybe for Wembanyama if he goes to OKC, but now OKC has done so well, Shane, that they're going to have extreme luck when it comes to the balls, if they even fall that far. They may not even be in the hunt for any balls if they make the play-in or do even better than that. So I just don't see it. I wouldn't be tanking. I think the new order in the NBA is here with respect to the draft and the lottery. I think you go out, get yourself as far as you can in the play-in, roll the dice once you're in there, and maybe you go further.
That's okay for an OKC that I think is on that fringe. And I love what they're doing. I love watching OKC play at the moment. They're young, they're fast, they're quick, they're playing with a whole lot of belief. So I'm with you if you're them. If you're down the bottom, though, why wouldn't you be trying? He can change a whole franchise for the next 10 years being able to get somebody like him.
Detroit, Hammer.
Well, he's going to make a big impact to be able to change them over a few years. He's not going to do it in 1 year. He's not going to carry a team on his own. But when you bring somebody like him, it's no different than Tim Duncan coming into the league. It changes everything. It gives an opportunity.
Stop it.
I'm not saying it's a Detroit.
Had David Robinson. Tim Duncan had Dave Robinson. You heard of him, the Admiral?
There are going to be some teams that have got some talent if they picked him up and then could recruit with it, are going to be in better shape. So it is worth tanking.
Hold on now. Let's go through this. Okay, so what? The only teams that are going to be in the lottery that I think he could change would be Orlando. Orlando's got a great base.
Okay, so if you're Orlando, would you start tanking?
Well, they're almost not good. I'd probably lose on the rest yeah. I'd lose the rest of my games, Hammer, because they do have some talented players.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you came back to our side then. I'm glad you came back and now you're tanking.
No. There's only 2 teams, Houston, Orlando, that he could change them. And Hammer, we grew up in the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Those guys changed their franchises. Boom. When's the last time you see that happen?
No doubt. But
he is a generational talent.
I like it.
Oh,
Yeah, I do
Joe,
too.
stop it.
I think,
Joe's been online on Eurobasket reading too much trash.
come on now. Do you know what? I'm most impressed by the fact that you and I agree on something for
That's
probably
good.
the first
That's
time.
really good.
Alrighty, guys,
Almost the end of the
let's keep things moving. Let's go in depth thanks to NBA 2K23. D is staying with us. We are talking NBL Free Agency. The Perth Wildcats made the first big move. Keanu Pinder, they threw him a bag and some change. D, do you like it?
I love it. They had to do something on the back of Luke Travers leaving, which I'm sure we'll talk about shortly. But look, Keanu, after Xavier Cooks, I believe is the best four-man in the competition. He provides athleticism, talent, but most importantly, Shane, something I felt the Wildcats lacked all year was a bit of venom. And he's going to bring that. He's a WA kid, and I'm sure he'll be glad to be back home. And that's a big pickup for John Riley. And I think he'll be able to expand his game and become even a better player than we've seen the past two seasons out there in front of the Red Army.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, this is a move that Perth had to make. When you lose your local superstar that will end up being in the NBA and Luke Travers, you have to go and probably overpay.
Right.
And by all sounds, around 600 or so, maybe even a little bit north of that for Pinder. Well done to him because he's earned that payday. He will be a better player. You always become a better player. The game becomes easy when you're playing with Bryce Cotton and some of these other guys that can get it done. But Perth needed somebody with a motor. They lacked a big that had a serious motor that could get a rebound and dribble it out and be dunking and getting the crowd going. I think he's going to be a star for them, and it puts them back on the map to make the playoffs again.
Which is only going to make the league better, that's for sure. Now, D, you mentioned Luke Travers. I think it's a great move. He seemed to be maybe perhaps in his comfort zone a little bit out there in the West, moving on to bigger and better things and hopefully push himself. Where do you stand on that move?
It's tough. I wonder how much he is going to really thrive somewhere else where the heat is really on him away from home. This is going to be a big challenge for him. He won't be able to go back to his comfort zone with family and friends in WA, wherever he goes next. And I have a feeling from, the word around the networks is that he may land at Melbourne United. If not, I think Southeast Melbourne would be a great landing point. But wherever he goes, Shane, it's not going to be like he thinks it is. It's never like that when you get recruited to go somewhere. Everyone is friendliest to you up until the point you get your name on the dotted line. Then all things change.
Yeah, I read somewhere that he said that he wanted to be the star of the team and he didn't feel that he could do that with Bryce Cotton there. And sometimes the grass is greener. You're like, I'm going to go somewhere else, I'm going to be the star. And I like the kid, don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be in the NBA. I think he's got good talent, great athleticism. I think he's got a huge upside. But I didn't see enough from him this year. Sometimes playing with a Bryce Cotton, your role becomes easier because all the attention is on a Bryce Cotton. He should have been finding ways to be able to leverage from the impact that Bryce has and the attention that he creates to be able to get easy baskets with his athleticism and the easy shots that he gets. Pressure will be on him when he goes to another team, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe he does have to get outside his comfort zone. So in one aspect, I respect it, that he feels like he needs to take his game to another way, but he's going to be under more pressure, and I hope it works well for him. But for the Perth Wildcats, that's a slap in the face to lose a young Perth kid that has grown up, drafted in the NBA, and he says, I'm going somewhere else. No, thanks.
Well, you take any chance you can to give the Red Army a slap in the face. I'm not sure that they'll be complaining too much based on the net result of Pinder in and Travers out. But anyway, back to Luke. I don't think he's ever going to be that number one or number two piece in an NBL championship contending team. Now, can he be a very, very fine player as a supplement, as a complementary player, like we saw Mitch Creek was 3 or 4 years ago? I think that's his timeline right now. If he's going to go somewhere else, he's really I'm seeing him as a six-man, Shane, in a contending team. I'm not sure he can carry the weight. Game to game, sixth man, you heard me. I don't see him being able to carry the weight as a starter right now. Furthermore, if he is to transition to the NBA, I think it's better for him to show he can do that role like he would do it in the NBA. Facilitate, get in there, defend, come off the bench, provide a spark every single time you're on the court. I thought in that Perth series, I thought in the Cairns series, he looked a bit flat, looked like he didn't really want to be there at times. And his absence in that series was one of the reasons why they lost that big game up in Cairns.
But everything you're saying is what he already had in Perth, that he was able to do in a good team.
That's the crazy part.
So that's a slap in the face to the role that he had in the Perth Wildcats, because he obviously wasn't happy there.
He didn't look happy there this season. Looking in.
Yep, no doubt.
Very quickly, Will McDowell-White, I know we speak about him all the time. He was the other big name in free agency. Still not sure where he's going to end up. The Wildcats are apparently pursuing him quite hard.
Wow.
Do you think he'll stay there? Stay with the Breakers or head over to Perth?
I have zero idea. Come on, T. You're the man on the ground. Where's he going?
Well, I think there were some things in play where the Bullets were trying to get him locked in, but I think Will wanted to play with somebody from the Bullets lineup last season who may not be with them this year. Again, this is all stuff that I'm digging out, digging deep, trying to find some intel, Hammer. Because there's no one in the front office up here at the Brisbane Bullets, it's really hard to separate fact from fiction. But look, Will, and we do talk about him a lot because he is a very marketable talent in this league. He plays an exciting style. He plays with a lot of charisma. He's a good kid, and we'd like to see those types of players do well. Sydney or Perth would be the only two locations I would depart New Zealand for, Shane. I've said it before here, I feel if New Zealand has their front office and their ownership stuff is all in place, stay at New Zealand. The coach is giving you the wheels to drive the car, and he had a great year, and he can lead that franchise for at least one more year and develop parts of his game that are still semi-deficient. Not terrible, just need a little bit of fine-tuning.
Talk about a drive-by without actually driving by. Talking about the Brisbane Bullets with no CEO, nothing going on there, with a player from last year. You won't say that it's Jason Kadee that he wanted to play with that won't be there next year. Oh, unbelievable, mate. On this show, we say what we think. All right? Get off that fence, pal.
Jason Kadee, another one potentially.
I said exactly what I said.
Potentially on the move as well.
He wants me to be him.
We mentioned the Bullets. They have certainly made some moves as well. Isaac White, Sam McDaniel heading up there from Tassie. Josh Bannon is the one that I want to speak about, though. Apparently, people say he's the next Nick Kay. He's going to be big for the Boomers one day. And I know that there are a number of teams who really wanted his signature. What are you hearing up there, Dee, about the acquisition of Josh Bannon?
It came without a lot of fanfare, Joe. It kind of snuck up on me in my Instagram feed, and I did some research, and his numbers look solid. To say he is going to be the next Nick Kay is a big one. If he turns out to be 60% of Nick Kay, the Bullets have found themselves a real gem. But look, we kind of heard a little bit of this about Jack Salt. You never know how these big guys come out of college after a lot of wear and tear. So I'm really keen to see what he does. They need someone big time in that position. I was reading on social media today at some of the Bullets fan sites. People didn't like my suggestion of going after Rajon Tucker, Joe. I think that's a great signing for him. You sign him for 2 years. Baines is going to be off that contract in another year. Then you've got Tucker sitting there, somebody you can build around. But these fans don't know what they're talking about anyway.
So you've gone from sitting on the fence now just calling out the fans. I love it. So the only thing I would have with Tucker, because I really like his game, he grew on me as the season went on. Is he a good fit with Baines and Sobey, though? To me, that personality and, that sort of isn't a good mix, one. And then the other one of White and McDaniel, both good kids, both good role players. Yeah. But have they upgraded of not signing Krebs and Kadee? I feel like they've gone backwards.
No. Yes. And Shane, something that really hurts you by not having Kadee back is you lose a foundation. You lose somebody who's got a lifelong basketball encyclopedia brain. You lose someone who everyone can talk to. And I think that's too valuable a piece, and someone's going to benefit from that. So who do you bring in to be that strong sounding board? Who do you bring in? Who do they have now that's going to serve that role? And that puts a lot of pressure when you don't have that in your playing lineup. That puts a lot of pressure on your first year head coach. And doesn't this sound familiar?
Yeah, but see, and Jason was the conduit. That's what he does. And
That
does
bridge
so
was
well.
that bridge was burned last season, though. He wasn't going back to Brisbane.
He wanted to go back to Brisbane. They didn't even talk to him.
Exactly. It was done.
What do you mean it was done? He wanted to go back to Brisbane, and they didn't even talk to him, from my understanding.
He was in McLennan's pocket, right?
So Joe, you think you think Brisbane were done with him? Obviously they were.
Yeah.
But why would that be the case? That's why I'm so confused. I can't understand what he did to bring that reaction.
He actually helped them.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything necessarily. I just think it was a toxic environment last season. All the players were in the pockets of certain different people in the front
But they're
office.
all gone. Front office is gone.
I know,
Surely he's the one
but
they need to
Jason's
bring.
guy's gone too.
Who's Jason's guy?
McLennan.
See, I just don't see that. I think they're all gone. I think a new coach needs what Jason Cadee does, and they're going to miss out. I think it hurts them because they just don't have somebody to play that role.
Not saying it doesn't. I
But I don't know why it could
did
be
not
burnt.
get the feeling that Jason wanted to stay there.
He wanted to stay there. He's entrenched in Brisbane, D. Yes?
True.
I'm going back to watch the interview we had with him on what, like 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, he wants to be back there. His family's entrenched.
I interpreted it so different.
No. He wants to be back there.
Oh.
This is a massive screw up from the Brisbane Bullets to be able to start a new way,
look,
keeping a key.
This is where we are now with the league, though, guys. You know, all this movement and stuff is generating so much interest. 3 years ago, nobody gave a damn what happened. No one would have cared about Jason Cadee not being signed. But like, I'm so interested to know the real story. Like, who did he offend? What happened? Was he in the wrong camp, Joe? And now the new ownership group viewed him as being perhaps an enemy. Do you know what I mean? And maybe that's why they didn't want him back.
It'll be so interesting once that all eventually does come to light. We don't think it will.
It's a screw up. It's a screw up.
Yeah.
Good luck to him. But I just
still
feel like they've messed
plenty
up.
more to happen in free agency, so watch this space and we'll have some more updates next week, hopefully.
Can't wait.
Thanks, Dee.
No problem.
That is just about all we've got time for. Big week ahead. Hammer, I know you're waiting on a bit of news for Shyla.
Yeah, Shy's had a very, very good offer to go to Europe as a replacement player, but FIBA have to approve it because she will be going as a injury replacement player and straight into finals. So for the Euro
That
Cup.
is literally a matter of hours away, potentially.
Yeah, so she's either going to be on a plane in 24 hours or the deal's done. So, but 95% she'll be in Europe regardless next year. But it'll be a huge opportunity, great team, great club, really good country to play at that sort of level and walk into last 3 rounds.
The life of a professional athlete. You don't know where you're going to be in 24 hours
Might
from
get a little
now.
trip to Europe.
Love that. Good luck to her in that case. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. Thanks to TCL Mobile, NBA 2K23 and UPCOZ. We'll see you next week. I think I'll be coming to you live from...
Of course you will.
From
You'll be gallivanting around the world.
Austin next week, but I will be here
With a
for the
wine.
last
With a
show of the
wine?
season.
You get a wine sponsor next week.
Next year, next season.
And next week, leading on to next year.
Yeah, well, we need a beer sponsor
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
I love it. All right, thanks guys. See you soon.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sports.